Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one opinion source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola as he sounds off on the latest movies, TV, music, gaming, comic books, and more. Now, here's the man of the hour, Marco Mazzola.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Marco Mazzola, and today with us again, our co-host, Mila. Say hello, Mila.
Hello.
And basically, our new co-host of the show is Larry. Hello again, Larry.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
We are good. We're good. We're talking about episode 4 of Hawkeye today. This is our bonus episode on Hawkeye, streaming on Disney+. All right, and let's go over. We're going to do a rundown, talk about opinions, talk about some Easter eggs. So, as always, some spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, come back, listen to the rest of the show. Who wants to go first today? Larry wants to go first today.
I was actually going to hand it off, but no, I'll go first. For me, same thing as episode 3. I'm going to give it a meh.
A meh. Two mehs in a row.
2 mehs in a row for me.
I'd have to kind of agree. Like, if I had to give 5 out of 5 stars, I'd give it like a 3.5. You know, solid.
I'm getting Larry's going to be at least a 2.5 at best.
No, on a 5er, on a 5-star, I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things, and damn you, Internet, for ruining it for me, because I think that the only wow factor I already knew about because of Internet and IMDb, we knew that the Black Widow's sister is there.
Yeah.
If I didn't look it up on IMDb to see the cast, and if I didn't see that she was going to be in this episode, I would have absolutely been like,
if you look at social media, you kind of knew she was going to be on.
It surprised me because, again, I go dark. Like, I literally don't look at social media when I'm watching the show.
So that
about
worked
it.
for you.
So, although I wish it was a little more of a wow factor, but I was like, she looks familiar. And I'm like, is she the Black Widow's sister?
All right, so
and
that's
then
a
later
sad
on in
that
the
you
conversation,
didn't know that automatically.
I know, right?
No, but the thing is, I pretty much like almost right away. I kind of got the idea. I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's Black Widow's sister.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But the thing is, my opinion on the movie was already like, like the Black Widow movie. I was like, that was like a 2.5.
You weren't a fan of the movie.
I did not like the movie that much.
All right, that's
so
fair
then
enough.
I was like,
you loved it too, right?
It.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And I was like, oh, that's her sister. Oh, that's from the. Oh, okay. Oh, does this have to do with that thing at the end of the movie?
Right.
Well, at least you. I mean, you figured it out, right? Like,
I did figure it out.
The end of it, so.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, for me, that was like the only wow factor out of the whole episode. I mean, there was a couple of. I don't want to say a couple of other things, but there were other things that kind of perked my ears up a little bit. But again, it wasn't for me enough. I think they missed the mark on this when we had talked about this on the last week that we were hoping in a 6-episode season series that you figure that 4 is going to be the top. Yeah, you're going to bang out from here on out. For me,
I mean, for every episode, even if it was just 6.
Right. But I mean, I felt that just personally with the, I don't want to say letdown, but the kind of non-boom factor in episode 3, I figured that they would have picked it up in part 4 and start the big boom factor.
Yeah.
For me, it didn't.
I'm still the same. I'm like,
me, it didn't. I'm like,
it's another filler episode.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's some really like nice parts, good moments, like the Christmas, little Christmas celebration. I was like, this is nice.
The montage with them, flicking the coins and stuff like that was
pretty
cute.
cool.
Yeah, and
it
then
is
like
definitely a filler portion, but it's just character development and their relationship together.
Yeah, and then getting into depth about like Hawkeye, like a little more into Hawkeye and Black Widow's like relationship, kind of stuff like that. And like that was nice. Like there were a lot of nice moments.
Yeah.
But in general, I kind of walked away with it like kind of going like that's kind of a forgettable episode.
Yeah.
Kind of forgettable episode. I guess I don't know. I'm a bigger guy, so we're easier to please, I guess. You know what I mean? We just take what we can get, essentially. You know what I mean? So that's just the way it goes. I liked it. I mean, did it blow me away? No, I wouldn't say it's a 5 out of 5. I'm probably closer to a 3.5, 4. On this one, definitely I liked it better than the last episode. I did find the montage fun. As much as you're not necessarily looking for fun always, but it is a Christmas show essentially.
Although the thing is, I think my favorite scene of the whole thing was that little Christmas thing.
Yeah, it gives you some relationship building.
Because that was really nice. Like I was like watching it, I had this stupid grin on my face. I'm like,
you can feel the grin.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, look, they got like the sweaters.
Yeah, they have ugly sweaters on.
And even though he can't be with his family, they're still like
because
together.
they weren't like he was very much at arm's length with her his entire time. For good reason. He's got to keep distant for a lot of stuff because of his past. But he pulled it together on this one. You know,
he even like finally told her that he was the Ronin
we
too.
know,
like they got closer.
We know she replaces him essentially as Hawkeye, like she's the next Hawkeye.
Right. So we need some sort of character.
But he has to train her. He has to be, invested in her to make that. And this is the first episode where he really seems like he's invested. Yeah. You know, before it was like he just wants to keep her safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now he seems a little bit more invested in her as a person, and cares about her and wants to build some kind of a relationship with her, so that he can do what he needs to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that was, to me, that was development on that end.
Yeah, I think something that this episode really did like achieve, like it did further their like relationship nicely.
Yeah.
Because I like sometimes it can get choppy. Like they go, okay, yeah, no, they're friends now. And stuff like that. That happens, and there's never really, because you don't get to see moments like that.
Right.
You go, oh yeah, behind closed doors, they're now really tight. They're really
and
cool.
we talked about that. I don't watch a movie between scenes.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So it's like,
and this shows you the between the scene.
Yeah, you
like
need to
this
see
is
that
what
connected.
happened. They're having a little bonding moment.
Yeah, you need to see that connective tissue.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense why he was like off-put it with her, and then all of a sudden they're besties.
Yeah, no, I mean, the montage was good on those grounds.
The scene, so towards the beginning, we kind of catch up almost right after, but not really, from the last episode. So you have the sword. I'm going to call him the swordsman because that's really who he is.
Or sword
Duquesne,
boy.
Whatever. So he's got the sword in his throat, and the next minute they're just sitting down having a powwow. There's no like, you don't pick up from the same exact scene with the sword in his throat. It's now we're in the living room with mom.
Well, no. It does pick up right where there because he's got the sword to his throat.
Oh, that's right. And then
she walks
in, and he pulls it back in.
And he goes, oh my God, you're the archer.
Right.
She's like, Hawkeye. And he goes, Clint.
That's
right.
And it's like, why is there an Avenger in my house?
Right.
So no, it picks up right from where we left off.
Although,
but I wanted more. Did you want more from that?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Like almost not necessarily a fight, but like something.
I did want something more. Although I have to say that scene where they're all sitting down.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I really liked that scene for some reason. Cause it was like there was so like who plays oh my God, I still can't remember her name. I'm so bad at
Vera?
names. The girl,
Kate.
Okay, yeah. Who plays Kate Bishop again?
Steinfeld.
She did.
Allie Steinfeld.
She did a really good job,
Haley
like
Steinfeld.
sitting there, like just in her face's emotion while like they're
She's
like
a
the
good
mom and the
sitter.
dad. No. But like the mom and the dad are like
I know what you're
like having
saying.
this nice
Entire
moment.
workshop
You
of
can
acting
see.
done sitting.
No, they're like, come on.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
Mila.
but like you can see that like
just
she
the way you
really
put it.
wanted this to be a nice moment.
Yep.
Like with her and like
Yes.
like her mom and like the guy, the swordsman.
Yeah.
Just like
Duquesne,
dancing and
whatever
having a
you
nice like moment. She's like she really wants her mom to be happy.
Yep.
But she also knows
She doesn't trust him.
that he's really not that good. But she's hoping.
She's hoping it, and she knows that there's some dodgy shit going on right now. So
and you
she's
can
like,
see
I don't
it
know
in her
who's-
face the whole time. Even if she doesn't say anything, you can see it in her face. The like,
And she
I
does
really
eventually,
wish
right? She
this
gets
was
it
a
out.
nice
like
moment.
after he leaves and Will goes away, doesn't she get it out with her mother? Like what she saw him doing? Am I wrong? Didn't she kind of tell her?
No, it's more like a futile attempt again. Like, oh no,
that
he did
drives
bad
me-
stuff.
Yeah, like
But
he
she's
was
like,
there
no,
at
no.
the black auction. You know what I mean? Things like that. The black market auction. Like that is something that drives me crazy about TV shows or movies when things happen and somebody sees something and they should tell somebody else and they don't. And they have like
That's one of the most
17
annoying
opportunities
things,
to do it. So the most perfect, and I've said this before on the podcast, the most perfect example was Lost. Lost did that constantly. There's like sort of separate groups, but they all are living together on the island, and a couple people go off and see a big smoke monster or a fucking polar bear or some shit goes down, and they go back to the camp and they're just like,
they don't say anything.
We're gonna keep it to ourselves. Like, no, you're not. You're
Yeah.
gonna tell people what the hell you just saw.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
one of the
don't.
most-
Like, hey, don't go over. There's a big weird ass smoke monster.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not like people
That's
are
my
gonna look at you like
biggest
you're
pet
crazy.
peeve
You're all
is
crazy.
when they just
you know what I mean?
don't like everything
Just
can
keep
be
the shit to
solved if
themselves.
someone just said something.
Yeah,
Right.
it would save a lot.
Yeah.
But then again,
and it's
it'd
not
be-
like that's
there
the
would be no
plot.
story
It's
if you
like
did.
Just a whole plot hole that happens.
Yeah, but then if you tell everybody everything, then there's the end of your episode show,
Right.
Then
whatever
come
it
up
is.
with
It's like,
something.
oh, so
then
the whole
come up
15
with
people don't
something
need to go
better.
there.
then come up with a better reason.
That's not how comics work, Mila.
Well, they shouldn't be this way.
There's things called story arcs, and there's crossovers that you need to build these stories that go on across the universe. You can't just answer everything in 10 minutes.
Right, my God. I start the shitting on Mila episode. Is that what happened today?
No, that's the end of it. Mila's
I apologize. Mostly apologize.
Mila's like, but.
What the hell? I just came here on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock to talk to you two. You're shitting on me for the last 20 minutes.
But
that was fun.
As we digress.
As I digest. So, yeah, okay, so we get the living room scene. Then after that, we get what?
Clint leaves. She's like, hey, listen. The mom sees him at the elevator. She's like, listen, keep my kid out of it. He's like, I just want her safe. Yep. And, she goes through the whole thing. Like, I know you've lost people. Yep. Natasha, she brings up Natasha.
Oh,
that's a low blow.
So that was, yeah. So like when I watched, I was like, ooh, she's hitting in the no-nos. Yeah. Like, ooh. So clear. But with that little interaction between the two of them, I was like, all right. She's something more than what we think. And then she goes and makes that phone call. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
I can't remember the phone call. What happened at the phone call?
So she gets on the phone call. She leaves the voicemail because obviously whoever she answers doesn't answer. She's like, hey, it's Eleanor. We need to talk. Yeah. So it's like.
God, I don't know what happened. I missed this.
It gives us the idea like, oh, wait a minute. So now we find out that, oh no, it hasn't happened yet. We find out right after Clint leaves that Jack is the CEO of this front company, whatever. Yeah.
I
mean, so there's that development between who the bad people are or who the villains are. Who's not a villain.
So maybe the mom's not as innocent.
Right.
I don't think she
Kate
is
likes
either.
To think.
I think she's
maybe she does know what the swordsman is up to.
Even
that's as far as it can, that's a really far jump, but there's a chance.
I don't think it's that far of a jump. To be honest with you, I think you're pretty much,
and that's why she's so dismissive. Because that would be why one would be so dismissive. He
does a lot of shady shit, and she doesn't know. Like, they're gonna get married, and you don't even know. Like, she seems too powerful and connected to not know.
To not know it, because we see that.
Like that.
We see that in the very first episode.
She's running their empire essentially, the Bishop Empire, because they're rich and they have money and they have power. Basically, they were a power couple. Right, the family.
Well, here's the thing, though, right?
She's running the company.
Jack, as we remember from the episode 1, when he's sitting there with his uncle that died, they're going for the Ronin sword. The uncle looks at him and goes, "What are you bidding on? You have no money."
Right.
So
I forgot about that.
Jack has no money.
Yeah.
So he's after her money.
Maybe, possibly. No, but that makes me think: is he really a bad guy, or is he just naive? Like, is she using him? Is she setting it up to make him look like the bad guy? Because again, we're going to go back to episode 1 when she's having the argument in the office with the uncle, and he's like, you know what? I got powerful friends too. And then the uncle's talking to Kate at the little reception. He's like, yeah, my nephew thinks that he hit the gold mine. I'm not, or the lottery or whatever. He goes, I'm not too sure about that. So there's already a little bit of disdain between Jack's uncle and her.
So
and now
as Jack that killed his uncle, or was it her or something she hired somebody to do it?
So
I did not think about maybe
it's starting to develop a little bit.
It's unraveling a little bit. Yeah,
she's the one on top.
Maybe, or maybe she's.
I haven't seen that scene yet, but yeah.
Right.
I hope not. Or maybe they've kind of sort of hinted at Wilson Fisk. She's in cahoots with Wilson Fisk.
Yep.
I'm so excited about that.
I didn't get to say that.
I didn't get to say that on the other podcast.
I know we said it last week, but good damn, they gotta get on this stuff for the last 2 episodes now.
Yeah, I wasn't in the last podcast, but oh my gosh. I wanted to talk about the Wilson Fisk thing so bad.
I know
you did. I am so stoked about that.
Yeah.
Because Daredevil's the thing that got me into Marvel. Oh yeah. But
absolutely.
It's like one of my
podcasts they fist bumped.
Yes. And it's one of my favorite shows. And I'm rewatching it now because just the little the flashback of Fisk's arm pinching her cheek. I was like
yeah.
I was like, no way. And I look it up. I'm like, oh my God.
Wait, you looked something up?
I did. No, actually, I do. I look at a couple of things after I watched the episode.
Okay.
So I was like, I wasn't 100% sure. But then I like looked at that stuff and they're like, oh yeah, no, that was Fisk. And I was like, yeah. Was it really?
Yeah, definitely cool.
I was so excited about that.
We talked. Did you listen to the last part of you?
No, I didn't. No.
We talked about that and my disdain for the fact that he's just a little dude, just Vincent D'Onofrio in a suit.
Here we go.
Come on.
What?
Come on, you got crazy Hulk monsters and shit like that. You can't make a giant fist.
It's the whole, you call it a Batmobile even though it's not.
Right.
He's very adamant that he doesn't like the fact that Wilson Fisk is not this big, huge blob.
Oh, come on. That's your thing?
You have a Hulk.
That's where it is?
You have a Thanos.
That's where you stop?
Yep.
That's when it gets bad?
Yes.
Is the fact that he's a realistic-looking character?
Yes.
That was part of it.
Hulk is not realistic.
The thing is,
Thanos
they already
is not
scratched that itch for you in Spider-Man. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, when they had a giant Fisk, there you go.
I don't care about
they had your giant Fisk.
I don't care about that.
They were like, I'll throw you a bone.
No, that's not a bone. I want to see it in the movies. I want to see it in the movies.
I would hate if Fisk looked like a giant blob monster.
No, I mean, not a giant blob, but the size he's supposed to be in the comics.
Okay.
You made Hulk, so you didn't have like a Lou Ferrigno as a Hulk.
We had
so if you're going to do that, just make a Lou Ferrigno as a Hulk. Just get a big bodybuilder for the Hulk and just call that the Hulk. They didn't.
Please don't.
They went CG because that's the way the character's supposed to be. Still not a Batmobile.
That's so...
Still not a Batmobile.
So
I agree.
That's going to be your tagline for the show. It's not a Batmobile.
See, the thing is, I'll take the Batmobile thing. I know.
I don't.
I'm with you.
I'm a purist.
I don't agree with that.
So then if you're a purist, not only was the original Daredevil with Ben Affleck bad for you, it was the worst. Like, because there was nothing, there was nothing about it.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
That is just not, you can't even redeem that in any way.
Fisk isn't like the size of a small house.
Yeah. Yeah, any comic he's ever been in since day one.
Yeah.
It's not like even Lex Luthor, right, from Superman, who has changed his appearance, right? He was a scientist originally. He was like a mad scientist, but then they made him like a businessman because that made more sense for him to be like a power suit, kind of guy. Like that made sense. And they changed him over the years. Like these
because the thing is, it's not like somewhat like
Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, has been this giant sized house since day one.
That's such a nitpicky thing.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the most nitpicky thing I've ever heard in my life.
It bothered me in the original Ben Affleck Daredevil. Even though I love Michael Clark Duncan.
It's not the point, though.
I love him.
I didn't like that they had him portray. I didn't like Lecter's part. I didn't like
that
movie was kind of a mess.
That was a hot mess. But again, then you come to the Daredevil series, the Netflix series, and
it was like a masterpiece,
It was a masterpiece except for that. Except for that, you can't, you can't throw that in there. It was so... They used like no CGI. There was nothing in it.
They didn't need to because it's a good show that doesn't need.
It's a good show, but
they don't need unnecessary CGI.
It's not unnecessary.
That is unnecessary.
It's definitely not unnecessary.
It's 100% unnecessary.
It's absolutely not. So if he's unnecessary, then having somebody like the Hulk is unnecessary. You could just have a Lou Ferrigno type person.
Right,
gotcha.
But Fisk is such a because
but you did that with the original Hulk show.
Such a better character. Like that's not the whole point. Is
you still have
the Hulk? All of the Avengers stuff
awesome.
is smashy, breaky. I'm really big and can break things really easily.
Thanos
Every single one of them.
Character.
I'm legit just letting them two go at it.
Thanos was great, but it was
Josh Brolin in a mocap suit. To be the size of the Thanos character from the comic, but you still had his
because
face.
He's a giant alien mad titan.
And Wilson Fisk is a giant house-sized dude who can absorb, and you don't need to we're going to flip it and be his suit is armored so he doesn't get stabbed, and that absorbs everything when it's the character who does it, when it's the person. Because he's a mutant, and you can't have mutants because they didn't own the rights to mutants yet, so you had to do it that way. It's lazy.
This is so exhausting.
It's lazy. It's lazy.
It's really not because the way they portrayed Wilson Fisk was amazing.
Just had some bodybuilder.
He was like such a eerie,
like
other
bodybuilder
every time he was on the screen, it was like this energy. It was so good.
Yeah, but my point is, you can still have Vincent D'Onofrio.
Have crappy CGI.
But you can have Vincent D'Onofrio do the character. So you're still getting that.
CGI.
I'm gonna mute you.
It's the only thing
I can do. I'm gonna mute you.
It's the only way this show can be good.
Oh, sorry, did I mute you? The point is, you had Vincent D'Onofrio could still do the character, so you're still getting the performance.
Yeah, it's just going to be extremely distracting.
Was Thanos distracting for you? Josh Brolin,
have you seen any Avengers movie? Everyone's doing backflips with different superpowers flying all over the place.
What the hell was Daredevil doing with backflips and hallway fights?
The thing is, it just felt
your
more
argument
grounded.
is falling apart around you.
It's the fact that I'm trying to say the energies were different to the show and the movies.
So the comic book TV show was different.
You know what I mean.
I don't. It's a comic book TV show. Make it a comic book TV show or don't. Because if you don't, it turns into The Dark Knight Returns. Or The Dark Knight Rises,
which I know you religiously love to hate.
Yeah, because it's just a cop and a cape movie that you made ultra realistic, where the Bane character is, again, not CGI giant dude as he's done in the comic books.
Didn't need CGI to be a good character.
Yes, he does. He doesn't need CGI to be a good character. You're right. I agree with you there. He needs CGI to be realistic to the comics, like everything else you're trying to do. Yeah, that's it. I'm a visually based person. I want to see what I saw on the comic book pages the best you can, like I did the Hulk. Like I did Thanos, like all the other characters you had to CGI.
I am dumbfounded.
in the TV shows, in the movies. You could have just done it on the TV show too, but still have Vincent D'Onofrio, who I think is a fantastic actor.
He did a
have him in the
wonderful
mocap.
job.
Yes, he did. Have him in the mocap suit and still get his performance.
I honestly, my personal opinion, I think that would have been just so distracting.
But then it's distracting in the other movies for you.
Wow, I can't take this guy seriously. He's literally, how does he go through doors? Like, I would have been sitting there going, but like, how does this work?
He go through doors?
It would just been so.
There's a million little things. It would
have been a million different things that would have been like, this is just so distracting. It would have taken me out of it.
How is that distracting if Thanos isn't distracting for you and all of his guys
because
are huge?
It was in
What's his
space.
Name?
Well, I think what it is, it's when you have Thanos. He's a Titan. He's from another planet. He's from another universe. So
Hulk is not, though.
Hulk is not. No.
He's from Earth.
He literally just becomes a radioactive giant monster guy.
So I think
reactive. But yes, he's a little nerdy scientist who giantly grows, and his pants grow with him.
All Fisk has is that he'd be very large.
Well, no, not until Tony Stark creates the new ones that stay with him, so he doesn't lose his pants every time.
Right. So I guess like the thing is,
he mutates and grows really.
But he mutates and he goes big, right? So the mind's eye is like, okay, that's fine. Kingpin
until
essentially
they have Smart Hulk. Who just stays big.
He just stays big when he's really smart. But no, see that. But
what
you can't,
does that have to do with that?
There's no difference then.
Kingpin is technically, the imagery of him is, or what the mind's eye, I think, is he's just a regular person.
Right.
That's what.
But he's not.
So you
but
don't.
He's not.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have.
So now you're changing the essence of the character.
It's the two schools.
Yeah.
Right.
You're changing the essence of the character.
And that's what they did.
You've got the original comic book reader, and you've got new fresh face. I've never seen any of this before.
Right.
Because notice,
so that's
if I saw this, I wasn't really big into superhero movies. When I started watching this, I would have been like, "What the hell is this?" and turn it off.
Let's take it to the next level. You're a Marvel, Disney. What is your ultimate goal with these? To make
money.
Right.
Money.
Who is seeing these movies? Everybody, because they're for everybody, right?
Right, yeah.
Non-comic book readers and comic book readers, right?
Yeah.
We're making money. You go into theater one time doesn't make them the billions they've made. It's people going back and back and back. Who's going back and back? Did you ever go back and back and back?
What do you mean?
Go back to see the same movie in the theater over and over again?
Well, I don't tend to do that in general.
I do because I'm a comic book reader.
I don't make a habit of that.
I do on movies like
I'll
that.
I'll go like, well, this is the best movie I've ever seen, and I won't rewatch it.
Infinity War and things like that, I went back multiple times because it represented there's big characters, there's CGI, there
was a lot going on in there, though.
Yeah. There would be reasons to rewatch that. But
where it's true, I'll go back multiple times.
The thing is, guess what? Daredevil, I've rewatched it. I think a total of 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, it doesn't make him any more money. It's Netflix.
It's Netflix. Okay,
so that doesn't count because it doesn't make him money. Okay,
it doesn't make money when
got
you watch
it.
them all the time.
Noted.
So
scratch that idea.
But my point is, the people that will go see these movies over and over again are generally the nerds, the comic book readers, like that. They'll go back and spend their money to go see it multiple times,
right?
And drop it on a ticket. So you are essentially, if you're balancing who you're making it for, it's more for them than the non-readers because they're the ones who are going to see it multiple times. You try to make it fun for everybody. So and the way you make it fun for everybody is the story is open. So if you've never read a comic, you can still enjoy it and you don't have to worry about the 50, 60 years of backstory.
Right.
You can go see it and it's a great movie and the acting's good and the action's fun.
And that's what she did, and that's why she's okay. And that's why she's okay with Kingpin being the Kingpin.
I know. I'm like,
the comic book geeky reader is the person who's going to go back and see it. So you need to play it for them too, and therefore you need to make Kingpin look like Kingpin.
So I just want to say,
make Hulk look like Hulk. You need to make Thanos and all his people.
If Kingpin looked like comic Kingpin, I really don't know if I would have continued with it.
So I just want to say that there's been more discussion about this Kingpin character.
Then Hawkeye?
Then
you're mad episode of Hawkeye?
Then if the Batmobile is actually a Batmobile.
That's right. It's not a Batmobile.
The thing is, that's because I don't care. The thing is, the tank, I watched those movies like 10 years ago. I just don't even care.
See, I still
this, I care about.
She's passionate.
I'm passionate about this.
She loves the Daredevil.
The Batman movies, I honestly haven't really given that much thought about.
Every day of my life. So if he was giant, if he was big like he is in the comics, and maybe not as big because, like you said, you wouldn't be able to get through doors. But if he was big, CGI big, you really wouldn't have watched it.
I don't think that. The thing is, I never watched any superhero shows. I watched like maybe a couple if my friend was like, "Hey, you want to see this?" I'm like, "Okay," and I like watch it. But I don't even remember then. But like, I don't know. I just really liked that. Like, I liked the Daredevil story.
Yeah,
right.
Story.
And I could get into it, and there wasn't that much like distracting, like superhero stuff because I wasn't used to that. Right. So then, like watching this, I was introduced to that, and I was
like, in essence, though, cool. the Daredevil story, until you starts like getting with other characters and other people and stuff like that, and once he like starts leaving New York and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of big, like, in-your-face superheroes.
Yeah,
it's not
right.
It's like so there's this guy, and that's not
very street level.
That's not 100% of the focus.
Right.
But this guy has superpowers. Here's the whole story about him having superpowers. It's like maybe like there's scenes.
He's blind and he can do all this
stuff. Yeah. But it's also like it focuses on all the other stories. Like that's the thing is that's not all the point. There's more to it. There's a whole story.
Absolutely. And it was a wonderful show.
And that's the thing about the Defenders. That's the thing about the Defenders, right?
Yeah.
Like that whole Hell's Kitchen crew, like you were saying, they're just those are those street guys. They just get down and dirty.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's Daredevil wanting to take down Kingpin and his hold on everything. Like that's his whole thing. It's like, we know that you're that mob figure. You're that head of everything. You control everything. You're the head of the snake. I got to take you out.
Yeah.
You know, and then you introduce people like the Punisher, which is on both sides. You know, he's like the anti-villain.
Yeah.
He's the anti-hero.
It's more about all the like the morality stuff like that.
Like
why
even Power Man.
Why do that?
Luke Cage, I'm sorry. Well, his original name was Power Man.
Oh, yeah. I saw
Luke Cage, Power Man,
pictures
you know, same thing with him. He's just super strong. He got a bad shake, and he's trying to redeem himself.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only one that really has quote-unquote superpowers out of all of them is Danny Rand, because he's got the soul.
He's the one with like the glowy fist.
Yeah, he's got the iron
fist. Was that
fist.
distracting for you?
Kinda.
Yeah, the whole show was distracting.
but the whole show, I'm like, that's not fair for that show because the whole show is,
They fucked it up.
Because I actually did read the comics for Iron Fist beforehand because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be so prepped for this. The one time I prepped,
right?
I was like, this is the most disappointed
prepped on that
thing.
one.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have prepped.
I wanted to
was like, wow,
you were probably let
like
down more than anybody who had never read the comics.
I was very let down. I was like, this is atrocious. I watched it with my sister and I was like, what have they done?
It was bad. Yeah, they really fucked it up on that one. So I agree. They needed to. I agree. The story is where those shows are at.
Yeah.
Right. But they should have made Kingpin big because you can have because then you can have
best
of both worlds.
We know where I stand on that. I don't need to continue it.
But then you can have best of both worlds. Unbelievable story, great acting, comic book,
and fist the size of a small house.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you have best of both worlds.
But
with a great performance by Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up like images and stuff like that, and they've still made him look big.
No.
But they've changed.
They play with his size.
They play with his size because it's like, look, not for nothing, you can't have Daredevil, which isn't the biggest guy. He's not, can't have him biting down the guy that's the size of a house. Like they've showed like different images, and I just looked one up. It was like him next to Frank Castle, and it's like, Frank Castle's like, I think he's like 6'1" or something like that, and Kingpin's something like, like 7'5".
Yeah,
he is tall. He's like think of like a tall center in the basketball world with like a wider frame.
Because the thing is, I like the way they do. Like they don't make him physically big, but they always portray just how threatening he is.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh yeah, so like. Yeah.
There's
so like
something to be said
you
the fact
could
that
say
he is that threatening
they
without
put
being that
that
big.
giant house-sized guy, but they made him seem like that in energy. Like it's like, oh yeah,
So
no,
the
this
problem
guy's
for me is
impossible to take down.
how do you now take him into the comic book world with the rest of the MCU? He's just this little dude, and he might be able to, take down people
that's like
Daredevil.
saying, yeah,
how are you gonna
like
be a bigger
all the
threat?
Avengers versus a crime syndicate. You're like, yeah, that's
How are
kind
you
of
gonna
gonna
have all
go
the
fast.
Avengers or a
I'd
bunch of
say.
Avengers against Wilson Fisk?
Hence why
when
it's
he's just
only
this little dude?
Daredevil
right, but
going
the Avengers-
against him.
But he might. But now, how do you bring him into the rest of the MCU to fight everyone else? And when you have a team,
You don't need
to.
to.
You can.
You don't need, but you don't need him to. You've got a million other bad guys to do all the physical fighting and stuff like that.
Right. No,
but
I
the
get
thing
what you're
about
saying.
Fisk is like you could make him more of a, like just a guy in the background that you don't see, like controlling everything at first.
No, you don't. But eventually, it's got to come down.
Yeah.
Eventually, it has to come down, right?
Well-
Thanos didn't do any fighting until like really the very end.
Right. And, well,
Yeah.
the good thing
You know
about the
what I
Kingpin
mean?
too
Because
is
Fisk, he did have a fight scene.
Yeah.
With Daredevil, the end of season 1.
Oh yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
so the thing about
He did beat
I know that his
Daredevil
suit, he
down
would got his
pretty-
ass kicked
well, okay.
because of his size.
Yeah,
so
but
he
he's,
got his ass
still
kicked.
tough as nails though. So I
No,
mean,
his
we
suit
see
was
him.
tough as nails. He's not because there was no reason for him to be that tough, other than he's just a decent sized dude.
He's like,
But he's still tough.
yeah.
What
He's
does that
tough.
mean? I don't
He
understand
could-
what
he
that
could
means.
take a
He's tough.
punch.
What he's
Yeah.
gonna
Take a
he's got a
punch.
grimace on his face.
He's
Okay,
7
so
something,
no, for
right?
He's got a-
No, actually, I just looked up. He's 6'7" and 450 pounds.
a mean face. Is that what you're
no,
saying?
but here's the thing though. Daredevil isn't super strong, right?
No.
no, he's very well trained.
He's very
he
well
doesn't have
trained.
super strength.
Right.
Yep.
So Wilson Fisk, who could take a punch from a guy that can punch really good, the suit just makes him impenetrable where you can't shoot him or stab him.
Right.
Yeah.
He can still take a punch, which makes him tough. So he can still beat the shit out of Daredevil.
Yeah.
And Daredevil can still beat the shit out of him. So it's a good fight scene.
Yeah.
Now
And
Daredevil
it's not
has
like,
his
him-
reflexes like a
him-
cat.
Well, that's
with
my
a
point.
flying
And
kick
that's-
towards his stomach, and then you see it's like huge, so it's like,
There's
like,
actually an image
pointless.
on one of the comics, and that's what I was trying to look up when I was being silent. That there's, I think it was done by Frank Miller, but it's Daredevil coming across with a sidekick, and it's literally kicking
Yeah.
Kingpin in the midsection, and Kingpin just sits there and just takes it.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
in the comic, that's what he does. He absorbs.
That's what I wanted to see.
yeah.
So
That's what I wanted to see.
Hawkeye.
That's what I wanted to see.
Oh yeah,
And I
Hawkeye's a
got
great
gypped.
show. I
And
think
got
it's really
gypped.
good. I think the show's
Not so far. I think you both are lying. I think the last 2 episodes, you guys are like, eh.
Well, the
just-
thing is, they've had really good emotional scenes.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? Though
No,
it's 6 episodes. Give me action.
But yeah, for six,
Yeah,
no, the
definitely
thing
want
is,
more.
for
So
6
Let's
episodes,
try
I
wrapping
want.
this up.
I don't
Like,
know.
so far, as
I
much
would
as I
say I
love
want things
Hawkeye, this is
furthered
not my favorite
faster,
show.
but like, I don't know. I like the pace that they're going with the relationship between Hawkeye and Kate.
Well, it's only
have
40
to do
minutes,
it.
so you have to.
You have
Yeah.
to, but
Another
like,
short episode, which
are they-
that's nothing I was
yeah.
bummed about.
my feeling
They're
on this one is like
prioritizing that a little.
they're not shooting it out every episode like right out of the gate, because I feel like they're really just setting up for season 2. Like they already understand they're gonna have a season 2.
Is there gonna be a season 2?
I think so.
Okay.
All right, so-
I'm like, I never
Loki's
know.
already set
I'm
for season
like,
2.
is
They've already
this going to
promoted-
stop here, or is it going to go?
No, I don't think so, because they're going to keep going on with her character. So, at some point, they're going to keep moving on. Loki's already got a season 2. They've already announced that.
Right.
Things like that. So, I think they're going to keep going on with this show. But you have to do better to warrant a season 2 for people to want a season 2.
Yeah.
Like, people wanted a season 2 of Loki.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if they continue with this trajectory, again, it's a second episode. It was only 40 minutes long. It was over like within a snap of a finger.
Yeah. It felt
one
very
Thanos
fast.
snap, which
One-
I love. I want one of those mugs, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
The Thanos was right.
Yeah, I want one of those mugs so bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this episode for me just kind of sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, again, IMDb.
Harsh.
Listen,
I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't say it sucked. But I agreed with the. It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Okay, so after we have
Sorry. Solid
the
3.5,
the
a little
montage of
over
them and their
halfway.
relationship.
Yeah.
And now we move on to the friends. We got to collect our arrows.
Yeah.
Right?
The LARPers.
Yeah.
The LARPers
That
again.
was
They're
slow.
back again.
That was kind of slow.
That was a little slow.
Because I
It
didn't
was like-
100% like no. Like I knew what was going on, yes, but I was like, oh, we're going to the LARPers. Oh, for the
Again.
arrows.
And we're collecting our arrows.
I thought, oh,
That was kind
okay.
of weird and weak.
Yeah, that was
crazy
a
about
weak
that
scene.
part. To me, that was the weakest scene of the whole show.
Yeah.
And
That
then we
sucked.
go. Then we're outside the apartment, like on the roof.
Yep.
Bitching
Yeah.
about why we're not high enough.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Which then
and
turns
he's
out
like,
to be,
and then he
you know,
comes up with a very good idea of you need a really good like back out plan.
Yeah, you need to
and
get
then
out.
she's
Makes
like,
sense.
she's like, nah, I don't need that.
He's talking. He's like, so what do you think? And he's like, oh, where did you go?
So what did you think of that? Like, to me, I found that funny, and I saw it coming.
Yeah.
With her attitude and
pretty
her
much
demeanor,
same. Yeah,
you knew she was just going to be brazen.
I was like, yeah, no, she's gone. She's gone, or if she's not gone already, she's going to have like
the dynamic between them, right? And we've talked about this, the character building, character development. Like for them two, the way that they're coming along, I do like it. I like the back and forth.
Yeah.
You need that. You need good chemistry.
They're very polar opposites on their way of doing
things.
Exactly.
So we know where. I mean, we know where it's going to end up, and that's fine. So I did like that scene, and I like that he's like, we got to do it this way, and she's like, yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm gonna walk through the front door. I'm gonna help this guy with groceries, and like that. That was awesome. He's like, don't talk to him. So, how are you doing?
Yeah. I've got an Avenger in my ear.
Yeah.
And he goes, I can take my groceries now.
Yeah. She's like, you sure?
No, that was good. I thought that was well done. That was inventive. And, you kind of saw it coming a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Still
but
fun.
I'm okay with that.
It was still a fun moment. Yeah, like, oh, wow, there she goes.
I'll definitely watch that again.
Yeah.
So she's in the apartment. And the silent alarms start going off.
Yep.
I was like, oh, those are silent alarms, aren't they?
Yeah. She gets the two goopy arrows to cover them. I thought that was funny.
Yep. She knew exactly where they were in her
a lot of training.
That was pretty good.
That was a lot of training real fast.
She had two of them.
Yeah.
Not just one. She had two of them.
There's probably like a little thing you could tell by, like, I don't know.
Sure.
A mark? I'm not sure. I don't know.
How the hell did she know which arrow was which?
Look, man, I don't know. Maybe they placed it on purpose, but I'm not defending it. I still think it's kind of.
So what we haven't seen, and I don't know if this is the case.
Why.
Well, I'm going to tell you, or at least what I think.
Just kidding.
Based on history, is if we haven't seen it is if you remember back to Avengers,
it rolls.
It rotates on his bow. He has a knob.
On whose bow?
On Hawkeye's.
Not on hers.
Not on hers.
Because she still has that silly wood
her
bow.
regular recurve bow. So, you know what I mean? So how does that filter in? The fact that, like, what happens is just the shaft and the quiver rotates the arrowhead in and it puts it in based on what she wants.
Oh.
Based on what he wanted.
Oh, okay.
It would rotate
I remember
the arrowhead
the
and
first
then
one.
Pull an arrow and it'd be the one he wanted. He knew exactly how to rotate the knob. Is that happening? We don't know. But she doesn't have his bow with a little fancy knob on it.
She's got to go, gee, I hope this is the right one.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe like checks, like maybe there's like a little thing.
It could be. The knobs at the end could be different color. We don't really know.
Yeah. I found that when she did that, I was like, it's dark. Yeah, I was like, it's dark. And how did you know which bow was which?
It's probably something by touch, maybe.
And how did you have two of them?
So the question then, not the question, the idea is that it's a comic book show.
Yeah.
And you have to suspend that disbelief.
And that's,
they have enough arrows. Very rarely do they have the like, oh shit, I'm out of arrows. Like that happens very infrequently.
Right.
Much like Spider-Man very rarely runs out of web.
Very rarely.
Because it's like you got to be prepared. If you go in with nothing but web or nothing but
story-driven, you have to run out of web because we need this next, or we have to run out because we need oh shit, we have to escape. So he just has enough. She has enough of the goop arrows. Who knew she'd need two? You know what I mean?
Well, you never know. You need to goop things twice.
Maybe.
Two times.
Two times.
Take two. They're small.
Two goops.
Take three in case one breaks. Goop ones. So, that's where you kind of suspend disbelief that they have enough of the right arrows to keep it going. And because we don't need to end that. We don't need to put on that part of the story of like, oh shit, I'm out of arrows. What do I do?
Because that's not necessarily all that important.
That's distracting, and God knows we don't want Mila distracted. So we have to make sure everything is happening as it needs to happen to move the story along. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, like it's. I got over it rather quickly because again, it's
it's a minor.
I didn't think about it too much.
I was like, come on, and then all right, next.
I was my thought process was, oh well, okay, we got those taken care of.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. So then we find the watch. Do we know what this watch does yet?
No, absolutely not.
Really
I have no idea what this watch is.
So that's still intriguing, keeping me going. I want to find out.
I want to know what that watch is.
Yeah, I'm like, and he's like, and she's like, it's just a watch, and he's like, it's very important.
Yeah, so
he
lets you know that it is very important, and it can reveal a very good friend of his that's been out of the game for a while. And
whose watch do you think it is?
I don't know.
I mean,
I did a couple Easter eggs, like theories.
Yeah, because I know you guys look really, really in depth on things. So I'm like, oh, any guesses? Because I'm absolutely in the dark.
Of like deep dive, not super deep dives, but there are certain
like surface level dives.
Yeah, so surface level.
They're
training diving.
Training diving. I follow a couple of people on YouTube that that every, they do all these already, these little videos, and they pull up these Easter eggs. So I watched a couple of them, and there were a couple theories out there. One of them I actually kind of liked, which makes sense. Which made me. So we haven't talked about Clint's wife.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. I'm right on track with you right now. Yes.
And one of the theories. Now, as I was watching this, I
was watching that theory this morning.
Okay.
I don't know what theory this is. I'm excited.
So when I was watching the episode, Clint's on the phone with his wife. Right. She gets all this information.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. How does she know all this? He asks her to look up. The Shell Corporation and everything.
It's interesting because I don't know do we know how they met?
So here's the theory.
Because I'm like, she seems like she's been around the block.
Oh, when I first watched, I'm watching this and I'm going,
situations.
Oh my God, she's an agent. She used to work with Shield. She's a former Shield
agent.
Right.
That's how, because there's no way that your normal housewife knows this kind of information and how to get to it.
Yeah, since the show started, I don't know, it was never really a revelation to me. I just slowly was like, oh, she must have been some sort of like agent or something, or like some sort of spy work kind of person, like
she worked
he
for
was.
Shield, which is why she knew, she knew Nick Fury very well.
Yeah,
back in the, you know what I mean, when they were at her house, she knew very, very well, and Shield took care of his family. Right, they put them safe so that they took them off the books.
Yeah.
So most likely she was an agent, but then she's been like almost decommissioned, not declassified. Yeah. She's been classified.
Hence her speaking to him secretly in German.
Right, exactly. So most likely she was a former Shield agent.
That's one theory. Another theory is
Oh.
The watch isn't hers. It's a man's watch. Like it's a giant.
Right.
Big old Rolex there.
That can lead up to certain situations that will reveal that she is actually a decommissioned Black Widow. So one of the theories is that she was actually a Black Widow. Clint went in to try to take her out. And just like Natasha, he didn't. He churned her. Hence the reason why she knows another language.
Yeah. Oh, well.
She was fine with the fact that.
Although, wouldn't you stick to Russian?
It's Black Widow.
Well, yeah.
They're assassins. They know it all.
Yeah.
They know many languages.
Yeah,
many languages.
I don't know. I feel like if you were to like tip that off, like, oh, maybe she was a Black Widow, I think you'd try to stick with one that we recognize.
But no, if you went Russian, you'd definitely be tipping it off. So that's kind of the point. They went
so it's nothing.
To not tip it off.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So,
you did Russian and be like, okay, yeah, she's definitely a Black Widow.
Okay.
One of the theories that she could be an old Black Widow who he pulled out. That's why she was fine with the friendship that he had with Natasha.
Right.
Because not for nothing, that whole thing, before you even see his wife, you're like, there's a thing going on. And then it's like,
but there's
no.
not.
But there's not, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's why his kids call her Aunt Natty, right? Because in the Black Widow organization, they're sisters.
Hey.
So this is just one of the things, and that's why like she was fine with his whole being an Avenger and being a ground. So we have the two levels, though. She could either be old Shield, or she could be an old Black Widow.
Who
we don't
then
know.
work for Shield.
Or she was just some random spy from some random spy company.
Shield.
Right.
Yeah, and he brought her in.
He brought her in. So,
Shield,
and then some of the people that countered the Black Widows, because Black Widows, they can't have children. Yeah. And they're like, well, they have 3 kids. They could be adopted. That's simple. I just write that up as
true.
It's we pulled her out of the Black Widow program. They're now a family. That's not so much their cover, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's real, but that's how they made it to kind of assimilate to normal.
That's
it's like,
really
we're going to give
cool.
you a family. We're going to give you kids, and you're going to be protected now by S.H.I.E.L.D. because this is all going on. So the way that the watch is, I mean, she knows about the watch. That's definitely an Avengers classified type
it was
thing.
in the compound.
Yeah.
She knew exactly about the watch, and that's why he's like, should it got destroyed? She was like, well, I thought that about your fancy suit, but I was wrong. So it's like, so she knows like everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I think I'm leaning on the side that she's an agent at S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go Widow.
There's a little more. There's a little more behind being a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
I'm going to say
being
Widow
a
to
widow.
S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
I mean, she clearly knows more than what she's let on and what we've all believed.
Right.
So, I mean,
I hope so.
Not that I'm super concerned about the development of that
that
character,
right,
about where it is. It's like, right, I mean, could it be like what's Fury's right-hand woman?
Maria Hill.
Yeah, Maria Hill. She could be like a Maria Hill. Okay, that's cool. You don't need to develop that too much.
Right.
But we know that she's in the know, and this is how it all happens. And I'm okay with that.
I'd be much happier if she was an ex-Black Widow.
That'd be awesome.
I would just think either way, I think it'd be sick if she was a spy or anything like Black Widow. That'd be cool.
She's definitely something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's
no way she's not something.
Unless they've been together for so long that she just knows how to do this stuff.
I mean,
but
which is also a possibility. It is a possibility. Not a likable one. It still is.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, with Clint being Hawkeye and being part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that,
but there's bound to
marry.
be just like you have to find her somewhere,
right? Like
within
here's the thing,
some shady stuff.
With everything that he's done, you can't just marry the girl down that you met at the supermarket, right? Like,
exactly, yeah.
So she had to be in the know from get.
Yeah.
So whether it was a S.H.I.E.L.D., a Black Widow, whatever, she knows stuff, right? Mm-hmm. She knows who the watch belongs to. The watch, I don't know who the watch belongs to.
I'm excited to find out. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be
interesting. I don't know why Wilson Fisk would want it. Because
why Fisk would want it?
Why does Fisk want the watch? Because he runs the tracksuit. Why does he want the watch? Because that's what when they first went to the black market, that's what they were going to find. It was because they was like,
that was
get the watch.
Intent,
the intent was to get that watch. Everything else was
suit.
Right. It was the watch.
Yeah, Ronin suit, sword, unnecessary.
That was very unnecessary.
He wanted that.
Yeah.
They want the watch. Why? Who? I don't know.
And what for? And we got 2 episodes to find out.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what happens.
So the last part obviously is coming up. We have the giant fight with Echo comes in. It's basically her apartment.
Yep.
As we find out, it's her apartment. So she comes back in to beat up Kate.
Yep.
And on the rooftop,
we have
Hawkeye starts to fight.
Elena.
And Elena comes back. We find out it's Elena.
Yes, and I'm like, hey,
you are.
the Black Widow lady.
The Black Widow lady sister.
Oh my gosh.
The blonde Black Widow. What?
Is this going to go into that stuff?
So we had like a dog with a bone, Larry. You have no idea.
I have an idea.
Mila,
I know. You're probably going to say this for the next 2 months out of nowhere.
Miller class, I'm sorry. You distracted?
Yeah. And I'm going to be like,
I could see that happening.
Look, man, look.
And I'm just going to laugh in the back. And they're like, what's Larry laughing at? Like,
she comes in on Tuesday. You don't want to come in on Tuesday this week? Tuesday night class.
I might be coming in on Tuesday tonight.
This isn't going away anytime soon. I know it's not.
This might be a full week
when
for me,
when you hold on to something, you don't let it go for a little while.
It takes a while. It takes a while. So anyway, we go back. We have Elena fighting on the rooftop.
Definitely distracted.
And what did you think of the fight scene? I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of good back and forth. Yeah, thrown off the roof a couple of times.
There wasn't that many like really, really cool moments. Or like very intricate fighting.
There was a lot of like that slow motion.
It was a lot of just like hitting and punching and kicking and flipping and I don't know, just not a lot of like.
But then they weren't fighting together. Elena was kind of doing her own thing.
Yeah, it was a bunch of people doing their own different thing.
Yes,
fighting things, doing things.
Pretty
much, like that's what it felt like. I was like, okay, we got a fight scene here.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. No,
I'll give it like,
it wasn't something that's memorable.
We're waiting for the Larry rating.
I'm gonna give it like a 6.5.
All right, 6.5. There it is.
10?
Out of 10. No, out of 6.5. Yeah.
Out of 5.
Out of 6.5.
No, I'm gonna give it was about 6.5.
How was it? No.
Yeah. That's pretty much what my rating on that fight scene was. Because again, it didn't blow me away. They didn't do any crazy things. You know.
Yeah.
It was what it was. It was it was a little bit of eye candy for the 30 seconds it was on.
Yeah.
No, they had this little bit of a flashback with Natasha. With she being thrown off the roof and
that was
him her with
I thought that was a low blow with like having Kate falling off the
was the
side of the building. I was like, oh my god. No, well the thing is, it was like by a low blow I mean like, oh man, they really pulled that off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, Clint's not all right.
He took it at everybody's heartstrings, his and the audience, of course. Yeah,
and then he's like, no, like, and you could see in his eyes, he's like, no, I can't keep doing this.
But again, that's,
she's just gonna die.
That was the all moment, and he was like,
yes, that was their like him.
And it was
back
like an understandable one.
That's what this whole episode was. It was the awe moment.
Yeah.
It was the awe episode.
Yeah, that pretty much. Yeah, it was like
typical. We're gonna come together, but then I'm gonna pull away again.
Yeah.
They do that so not just in the show, but
there's only 2 episodes left.
Yeah, that's bound to happen.
I know.
Yeah.
There's 2 episodes left of this season.
There's 2 episodes left. Hold on, it just hit me.
Yeah.
Like just now. There's only 2 episodes.
There's only 2 episodes left.
I know.
Oh,
So
boy.
that's why, like, we were expecting so much more in this episode. At least I was. And
I am just hoping.
I was expecting more, yeah.
I'm hoping they don't, like, save this season to just roll into the second season with the story.
That's so... I hate when they do that, yeah.
I will say this. If they continue on this trajectory for this season, just to set up season 2, it's going to be very tough for me to watch season 2. I'll watch it because I'm a fan and I want to see the story develop.
Helps, and you
but I will not be rushing going, I will not be waiting Tuesday
wait till
night.
It's all over, binge the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, we'll continue to do this, obviously, right? But I won't, like now, Tuesday night, I'm like, I got to watch it tomorrow. Like come Wednesday, I'm like, I got to watch it today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it continues the way that it's going, I will not be doing that for next season. I'll be like, when's the podcast? All right, I'll watch it that day.
Yeah, watch it in the morning. So it's fresh.
Yeah.
Or maybe like the first couple episodes I'll watch because I want to see how they go. But if they just continue with this, they're gonna slowly, quickly lose me.
You've seen WandaVision.
Yes.
You've seen Loki.
Yes.
You've seen
Winter
Falcon, Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Now we've seen Hawkeye.
Yes.
Weakest of the 4.
Oh shoot! Hold on.
Which one's your strongest? Which one's your weakest?
So,
do you have an order?
Overall,
high to low.
This is a really tough one because I mean,
it's not done yet, so it's kind of hard to.
Right, but
it used to be easier for me to order them, like just order them rather than saying weakest and like strongest. Because then the thing is when it's like going in order, then I could go like, oh yeah.
Then you just find out which one your weakest is.
Yeah, and then I go, oh well, I guess that one's my weakest.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But there's still 2 more episodes left, so it's tough after 4 to think like these last 2 are gonna save the whole thing for me. If the last couple have been meh. Started out a little strong, the middle got weak.
Oh, wow, it's just like WandaVision.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought so the same thing on WandaVision?
There was definitely a couple of episodes on WandaVision that I was like, this episode sucked. Like, straight up, I was
Which
like,
ones?
this is, I'd have to, they all kind of blend in now. That came out a while ago, so I'd have to, like, kind of go back. There were certain episodes I liked, certain parts of episodes that I was like, oh, wow. But then there were other episodes I was like, wow, this kind of
loved
blew.
it.
I loved. You know what? I think I loved WandaVision
we take what we can get. But I loved it. I loved WandaVision. I loved it because it was fun and different. That was the main thing that kept me going.
I'd say WandaVision was my favorite.
Especially the first like 2/3 of it before they just kind of like went, okay, we know this is going on now.
Yeah.
So now it's just like a show. It's just like a Marvel show. But it was just like, it was fun. You're watching like old 50s TV.
Yeah, like I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, it's a very interesting way to do it. Yeah, and it was like one of those shows like Lost. You don't know what the hell's going on here.
Yeah.
Until everything gets.
And you get thrown a bone every other episode.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
well, that's what it was for me. Like the first couple episodes, I was like, yeah, I was super into it.
Then you hear the radio and you hear the guy saying Wanda. Right. You're like,
now
what the hell's going on?
Now I'm trying to. I find myself during that when I was finding myself looking for Easter eggs instead of watching the episode itself. Like I was trying to every time they did something, like something on the calendar or something on the radio or like
the commercials.
Like I was paying attention to the commercials.
Do with, like Hydra and stuff like that. Yeah.
So,
I found myself doing that more than paying attention to the episode because I'm like, yeah, clearly she's batshit crazy. All right, yeah, she's a witch. We get that. Yeah. I want to see, I wanted Agatha to come to fruition. I wanted that character. Like, we knew who she was. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
When are you going to show? Like, I was looking forward to other things. But, for me, Falcon Winter Soldier, because I really like Winter Soldier. I've always liked that character. He's probably not one of my favorites, but, like, he's
Winter
one of my
Soldier is one of my, like, top 5 characters.
Yeah, like, I like him a lot.
MCU.
The Falcon I always thought was kind of just, whatever, he's weak.
Yeah.
I don't, whatever. He's man.
He's your new Captain America, sir.
I thought his outfit was
respect.
absolutely sick, but still, I'm like, yeah. But Falcon, like, he grew more as a character to me, but he's still kind of like, oh yeah, and then there's Falcon.
And then there's Falcon.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So it's, again,
because I was really hoping Bucky would be Captain America.
Well, here's the thing. If we follow,
even though at some point he does,
he does become Captain America.
Yeah, because I saw Falcon. That was when I was with my friend who knew all about all the Marvel stuff, and she said, "Oh yeah, you just wait, Winter Soldier's gonna be Captain America." And then the moment came, and then he handed it to Sam, and I was like,
Well, and that's the best part because everybody, like, if you follow the storyline, we know that Winter Soldier does become Captain America at some point. So I like that series. That was probably one of my favorite ones. I'm gonna put Loki right behind that. But for me, Loki and WandaVision were kind of like 2 and 2A or 2A and 2B. Like they were kind of like even for me because for both series we had a couple like caca. For me, there was a couple like caca episodes on both of them. I like the idea of playing with the timeline on Loki. I thought the funniest thing is he falls in love with himself. Like that was just hilarious. It's like, great. Wait a minute, I know she's a female but you're falling in love with you.
Like, well, this seems like, nice, but it's also not a little suspicious.
It's definitely suspect. I like how that played out. Like when he comes back, he's trying to talk to Owen Wilson's character, and Owen Wilson's like, "Okay, yeah."
I love Owen
and he has
Wilson's
no
character.
idea who he is, and he's like, "But it's me," and he's like, "Yeah. What are you from, like accounting or whatever?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, he's in a different timeline." The whole timeline got completely construed. So I was like, "This is the multiverse." So they introduced the multiverse through the TVR, and so so I liked that aspect of the Loki. I think you've said it before. How many Lokis can you have? Clearly not enough. Because there's Lokis everywhere. There's alligator Lokis and drunk Lokis and all sorts of Lokis.
Little Lokis and women Lokis.
There's all sorts of Lokis. But I
athlete
love the
Loki.
alligator Loki. I have that
hilarious.
pop figure shop.
I'm sure you have.
do.
I was waiting for you to mention.
The old man Loki was awesome because that's the original Loki costume that they used.
I noticed. I was like, yo, oh my god, that's so cool.
Original Loki.
I have the pop figure of that.
Oh,
Although
really?
it's one of my minis, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have an original
cool.
Loki.
Yeah, so them two come, 2A and 2B for me. And so, and then there's Hawkeye because there's been I think the other ones ran more than 6 episodes, so they can kind of drag it a little bit. So I was okay with that.
Right.
I expect a lot out of this because it's only 6 episodes. Why am I having 2 man moments back to back on the dead middle where it should be?
Yeah, this should be
episode
like
4 should be the climax,
right
and then we're taking this roller coaster the whole way. This is where it should be. I thought I was going to see the Yelena a little bit longer than the 2 seconds that we saw her. I was like, hey, it's me, fight scene, mask off. She takes Clint down. She's about to hit, Kate's about to hit it with the arrow. She's like, no, you don't want to do that. And she's like, you know what, you're right, I don't. She takes off. Oh, okay, so the fight scene was 30 seconds. We saw Yelena for 2 seconds. And then
the
leaves.
episode ends.
And then that's the end of the episode. I'm like, that was horseshit. It's a 40-minute episode. You got me again.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for me, it was, that's why I was just kind of like, ugh. Like, the car scene in episode 3, I think, was better than the fight scene in this one.
Yeah, I'd say so.
There was more to it.
I love a good car scene.
The indestructible cars that flip and crash and still drive.
All of a sudden, see half a moment later, they're still driving down the road. Like, we got you.
I mean,
that was a rough.
And you're like, that doesn't make any sense.
That was a little rough. So I was reading online. There's like multiple theories as to where the watch comes from. Like tons.
Do you share with the class?
There's some. It was Steve's. So it basically points, almost like in Star Wars where it points to where Luke is, it almost points to where Old Man Steve
is. Which actually makes sense because at some point in the comic, he becomes Captain America again.
Yeah. I have a question. Do we ever know what happened to Steve? Because he was like, I'm old now, and then the movie ends, and I'm kind of like, wait, where'd he go?
Well, again, there's two Captain Americas. There's the old Captain America, but when he goes back in time, and again, this is the whole Back to the Future line thing that constantly confuses people. Yeah. Current Steve Rogers goes back in time.
Yeah.
That Steve Rogers continues on.
Yeah.
We saw the old Steve Rogers. Well, what happened to which is the current one that we saw? But what happened to the Steve Rogers that was there that continued on?
Where's old?
He? No. The one that went back in time to be with Peggy grew old, and that's the one you saw.
Right.
Yeah.
But
that's when you saw sitting on the bench.
Right. Yeah. I get that. But when he goes back in time.
Yeah.
So essentially,
there's already a Steve Rogers there.
Yeah, so essentially what's happening in the Back to the Future thing, now there's 2 Steve Rogers.
Exactly.
There's the one who's actively doing shit, and the one who's married to Peggy in the background, who's just staying quiet and not
he's
being
the old
Captain
one.
America.
So I think, and that's the old Steve, that's the thing. There's 2 Steve Rogers.
There's 2
on our timeline.
Yes.
So where's the other one?
We don't know that.
Maybe
it wasn't when we're watching it until it eventually goes back and does it. It creates like a rift. It creates.
I see what you're getting at. Oh, hold on.
There's 2 Steve Rogers on our timeline. One grew old.
I'm trying so hard to hold on to them. Like the 2
It goes back
concepts.
and changes the history for us.
Yeah.
Like Back to the Future where shit goes back and changes automatically.
This is why, I don't know.
It goes back and shit.
Every time things mess with
really
time,
yeah.
Every time stuff messes with time, I'm like, oh no.
Trying to figure out how.
Well, you guys are the Doctor Who people. So
yeah, that's the thing.
Is that what he
that's
does?
the thing. I grew up on Doctor Who, so now I'm like, oh no.
You should have this down to a science and how to explain.
Trying to figure that shit out.
So usually, like,
trying to figure out women. No, I'm only kidding.
Ooh, he said it, not me. He said it, not me.
Just love him. Don't worry about trying to figure it out. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what happens. Is that now there's two Steve Rogers.
You know what?
There's the active one doing stuff with the Avengers, and the one who's just married to Peggy, doing his own thing.
Yeah.
She might go do something. He's just
right. So he's got to be like somewhere, just like active. Oh yeah, kind of.
He has to. He can't be active. He has to basically stay hidden because otherwise people realize it's two Steve Rogers.
Right.
So like
the average person,
major
but like
events happen, and he's like, hey, maybe
somebody's got to know. So that's what that watch has got to be.
Right. It changes the events
that would make.
Well, there's a ton of other theories. It's Laura's. It's Jack's. It's something to do with Nick Fury. Like it goes through the litany.
Yeah,
all the different characters.
It wasn't in order of how
it could just like tie.
So I saw something about Mockingbird is Laura could be Mockingbird, which is Hawkeye's love interest in the comic.
Well,
yeah. So
I mean, they are married.
What's her name? Pelicky or whatever her name is. He was. Remember that was her in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Adrienne Palicki, whatever how you pronounce her name. She played Mockingbird in that show.
You know what? I stopped watching that about halfway
from the show, and they were going to create their own show.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was canon, then it wasn't canon.
I watched like 3 seasons of that, and then I kind of dropped it.
It's kind of like man out for me.
Yeah, I watched about halfway through it.
It wasn't tied in enough for me to continue on.
Well, I think that they started going on its own, and then they said that it's not canon anymore. So it's like its own thing, and then
it's got to be now. With the multiverse, it's canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should. I never actually. I just kind of dropped it. There was no real reason. I was kind of getting out of it.
The problem
I ran out
with a show
of
like that is, like you say, if you try to make it not canon, like what's the point of watching it?
Right.
Like I'm watching 10, 11, 12 years of all this shit's canon and tied together. And now you have this show with a person who was in the whole thing.
Right.
He's now running it and he's not tied and it doesn't connect anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Wait, when did they cut it off? Like since the beginning of it?
No,
it was about halfway through.
They talked about the
halfway through. They were like, okay, this doesn't count anymore.
Yeah, it just kind of like they started doing those, but they're doing like really crazy out there shit.
Yeah,
like they're really out there, like doing stuff like globally.
Wait, when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
ties to like what was going on.
Oh,
and you never saw it. You never saw it again in any of the future movies. You never did anything with it. And it's just like, I don't know. It's almost like how do they bring in the X-Men with all this shit's been going on and they've never reared their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this whole thing.
You're just like waiting for them to go, so what's up with the X-Men? How are they doing so far?
Yeah.
What have they been up to
so far? There's been no mutants.
Right.
So.
That we know of.
That we know of.
They had their chance with Kingpin. They fucked it up.
That was like years ago. They still couldn't do that.
I know. I know. No, they didn't have the rights then.
Yeah.
They didn't have the right to do it.
But they could have introduced the idea of people that just are. They just are. I mean, that's what a mutant is.
And they start that with Kingpin. I feel like you could start with a lot of other people. I don't think you'd start with Kingpin.
Yeah.
You go, oh no, don't worry. This guy's literally just built different.
Doctor Strange is out because he said he didn't want to do it.
Wait, what?
That sucks.
What about Doctor Strange?
So there was a theory going around that in Doctor Strange that's how we're going to introduce the mutants because they're thinking that one of the fan theories was that to help bring Wanda down, Doctor Strange is going to need Professor X and his mind control, his mind abilities to stop her brain. But Patrick Stewart said he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it anymore. Like he's not that he didn't love it.
How's the young Professor X doing? Is he up for it?
I hope it's not him though. I like him, but if it's not Patrick Stewart, I'm out. Like it's kind of one of those things. Like he was made to play that role.
Patrick Stewart wouldn't go back
Robert
to
Downey
superheroes.
Jr. built that role of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It not even obviously Samuel L. Jackson built Nick Fury.
No, the other way around.
Yeah, they designed it after him.
They designed that Nick Fury was designed after Samuel Jackson.
They made it to look like him in the Ultimate series. So he had to play that role. Like who the hell's gonna do it? Like you already had the guy. You know. Although I've seen that happen before. I was reading something. There was a guy. Who the hell was it? And there was. The guy went to audition for the role that they had based on him, and they didn't give him the part.
Really?
Are you serious?
They're like, yeah.
What?
You just
Wait,
don't
what
do
was
the
this
part.
for?
But I forget what it was. I'll have to remember. Hopefully by next I'll remember. I'll look it up. He's like, Lewis
wow,
Black
you're
talked about
perfect
this.
in every way.
Yeah, Lewis
Get
Black
out.
talked about this. Like, yeah, this character is you. We're portraying you, but you're not a good enough you. They give it to someone else who's a better you.
That's kind of funny. Yeah. That's pretty funny though.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right, so there you have it.
That's like hearing about people
episode 4
who, like,
in the bank.
yeah.
Waiting for episode 5 this week. We're having hopes. Hopefully they don't crush our hopes again.
I hope not.
If the next episode isn't good, I'm gonna have to just drop it before the last episode. Because you know what? I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
Yes, it's happened before. It'll happen again. So there it is.
Still haven't watched the last episode of Loki. For those who don't know,
just wondering. Still has not happened yet. We're gonna have a Loki watch for Mila.
I'll get there one day.
We'll keep a Loki watch going on to see when she ends up getting off her duff.
Yep. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll keep you updated on if I've finished it or not.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Larry. As always, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me again.
We'll see you in a minute. We're going to do 80s cartoons.
Yes.
I'm excited. I wanted to do this one for a while, so look for that as well this week. All right, Mila, thank you as always.
Thank you for having me.
Mila was not even a glimpse in her daddy's eye when the 80s were around.
That's true. And you know what? I know a lot of exceptions. I know people my age that have seen 80s cartoons, and I can say, definitely, I'm not one of them.
Not one of them.
I have not seen any.
Mila
Probably have, maybe a couple.
So let's not talk about 80s cartoons. All right, thank you, Mila. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. As always, we're entertainmentrants.com. You can find us there and engage with us at engage@entertainmentrants.com. And, of course, our social media at Entertainment Rants. We'd love to hear from you. Feel free to drop us a review on the Apple Podcast, and we'll read it on the show. Other than that, just get out there and keep on ranting, everybody.